Now, Dimitris Avramopoulos, your turn. I don't know if you want to go on into the Eastern Mediterranean and so on, and the Cyprus problem now, but you could intervene again.
They are all interconnected, because when we talk about the Eastern Mediterranean, we cannot ignore that we are in Cyprus now, and Cyprus is back on the epicenter of all these geostrategic changes, which has raised the strategic importance of this island, and we'll talk about it later as far as the main objective, which is to see this island be reunited one day. It will be beneficial for everybody, because a united Cyprus means that we can overcome all these problems in Eastern Mediterranean, starting not only from the conflict in Gaza or in other parts of the Mediterranean, but also of the fact that Eastern Mediterranean has one big problem to resolve: the delimitation of the exclusive economic zones, which is a part of the complex of the situation here. So let's see how can we foresee the reunification of the island, which is beneficial for everybody. Everything passes from here. Energy routes, interconnection with other parts of the world, sea lines, but this has to be understood by Turkey. Turkey must realize that it's beneficial for this country to have this problem resolved. It will take time, but at least there is a hope on the horizon after the election of the new leader of the Turkish Cypriot community. Let's hope that it will be proven maybe the most hopeful development, given the fact that everything starts from the dialogue between the two communities. But let's go back to what we said before. Well, regarding the situation as it was described before by our panelists, the situation is very complex right now and became even worse after what happened in Gaza. I'm afraid that this very good initiative undertaken with the Abraham agreements could be back on the table as soon as possible. This can lead to a better understanding, but how can you overcome the deep wounds that have been created during the last dramatic years in this part of the world? It is difficult, because beyond politics and geopolitics and all these wishful thinkings, there is something that we cannot ignore: the traumatized, emotional, peoples in the region. So the Abraham agreements were on the right track. But in order to move forward now, I think this is the moment to decide to put also Palestinians on board. They cannot be separated from the whole process, because right now they are not there in this dialogue that is going to start. We have to understand that everybody in this region has a role to play. But as I said, the emotional part cannot be overcome easily, because whatever is divided by blood, it cannot be forgotten the day after. It will take at least 2 or 3 generations. And the emotional memories are very strong in everything, including geopolitics. Coming back to what I said in the beginning about Cyprus. We all believed in the past the Mediterranean was in the margins of the global interest. No, it's not anymore. It is not a marginal issue. Mediterranean has come at the epicenter of global development. So all countries in the region have to realize that it is the moment to make a step forward. In the past, there were some initiatives, but the Mediterranean area should be more interconnected among all of us on the basis of common historical experiences, but most importantly, on the basis of our common aspirations. Here on this panel, you have representatives not only of Cyprus, of Greece, but also Egypt, one of the most important stakeholders in the region in terms of stability. Also, Israel, who plays a very important role. But I believe it's not far away the day that we must all decide to make something more concrete. The proposal to create a new form of cooperation, a new platform of cooperation in the region with a new conference with the participation of all stakeholders, even among countries that understanding is not very easily achieved. And I believe that it was on the right direction, the proposal made by the Greek Prime Minister some days ago. But will it be possible to start talking to each other, to understand that we live in a common, vital space for all of us? So the Mediterranean is coming back, as I said, at the heart of the global developments, as I said in the beginning, on energy, on sea lines, on everything. But the precondition is, of course, to establish trust. Trust is missing among all stakeholders in the region because we still have on our shoulders the burden of our past. But this is the role of leaders today, how to open new horizons by getting rid of what was inherited to us by the past. Is it easy to happen? It is not easy. I'm a politician myself. And I know that in politics, what defines the role of leaders is what is considered as national interest. And this is the problem today in all these countries, because national interest is not always in accordance with the human interest, with the real needs of the people. And last thing that I would like to mention, where is Europe? Europe should be reasserted in this part of the world, but Europe is weak. Europe has not managed to have one voice to speak. Europe is fragmented, but Europe should understand one day that Mediterranean is part of its vital space. So they have to be more present here. But in order to do that, they have to overcome their domestic problems. I said that given my experience as European Commissioner till 2019, where I saw the beginning of the end of Europe as we were used to that in the past. Fragmentation, division, and of course, the rise of all these hardcore extremist powers and political parties that unfortunately, in the way they think, they give us the impression that they want Europe to go back, to revert back to its dark pages. So Europe is not here as it should be. The countries in the region should talk to each other in a spirit of trust, and leaders should share the same vision for a new world that we want to make. And since it was in the past the cradle of all big achievements on mankind's history, it was Mediterranean, let's make it again. It is not difficult. It depends on whether there is political will, there is strategic plan, and there is, let's say, among the politicians, something that it is difficult to be achieved, to get rid of the so-called political cost and start thinking in a different way. Finally, the 20 points plan of President Trump should be considered. There are some good points there, but it will take time in order to be implemented. Thank you.